Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Watchers live stream for January 29th, 2025. My name is Garrett.
And I'm Kevin.
And Kevin is a little lower on the volume than normal. That's okay. But anyhow, we're here with our live stream for a week. Hope you're all having a fantastic day so far. Nadia has already chimed in and says hi. Well, hello, Nadia.
Hello.
Hope you're having a fantastic week so far. But, Kevin, how the hell you been over the last week?
Good. I didn't watch as many movies as I wanted to, but I did have a presentation and a couple of essays to do, so that's why. But Nadia and I went to Knott's Berry Farm today, and we went on every single ride, and we're done with the park in 2 hours.
Wow. Well, there you go. Sounds like it was a fun time.
It was great.
But let's go ahead. We got a pretty weighty topic to discuss first. And of course, that is that the Oscar nominations have been announced. So, you know what time it is, Kevin?
It's slideshow time.
Yeah, it is. Wow, that weird noise coming over is just getting worse. All right, so yes, let's go ahead and talk about these Oscar nominations, and they're going to be kind of going over. I did the ones that are like the least interesting first, then going up to like Best Picture. So for documentary short film, the nominations are Death by Numbers, I Am Ready, Warden, Incident, Instruments of a Beating Heart, and The Only Girl in the Orchestra for documentary short film. Documentary feature film, the nominees were Black Box Diaries, No Other Land, Porcelain War, Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat, and Sugarcane. Really sad to not see Superman on here, the Christopher Reeve story, even though that was deemed ineligible. And really sad to see A Remarkable Life of Evelyn not on here. Live action short film, Aline, Anuja, I'm Not a Robot, The Last Ranger, and The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent. And those are your live action shorts that were nominated. Animated short films, Beautiful Men, In the Shadow of the Cypress, Magic Candies, Wander to Wonder, and Yuck. Alrighty, and getting into the main category nominations here, we have visual effects with Alien Romulus, Better Man, Dune Part 2, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and Wicked. Not a lot of surprises here, just surprising to see Better Man get so much attention for a movie that no one saw in the United States. Next up is for sound. We have A Complete Unknown, Dune Part 2, Amelia Perez, Wicked, and The Wild Robot, a category that will surely go to Dune Part 2 this year. Next up, production design. We have The Brutalist, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked. Get used to seeing these names come up in the technical categories. Next up for international feature film, we have I'm Still Here from Brazil, The Girl with the Needle from Denmark, Amelia Perez from France, The Seed of the Sacred Fig from Germany, and an animated film, Flow, from Latvia. For Best Original Song, the nominees were El Mal from Amelia Perez, The Journey from The 6888, Like a Bird from Sing Sing, Mi Camino from Amelia Perez, and Never Too Late from Elton John, Never Too Late. Really sad to see Compress Repress not nominated here from Challengers. But then again, Challengers just got snubbed in about every possible way this year. Original score, speaking of, we have The Brutalist, Conclave, Amelia Perez, Wicked, and The Wild Robot. Sorry, I just saw. Were you trying to say something, Kevin? You're muted now. All right, cool. So those are the nominations for original score. Next up for makeup and hairstyling, we have A Different Man, Amelia Perez, Nosferatu, The Substance, and Wicked. Really exciting to see A Different Man and The Substance nominated here. Hopefully it goes to The Substance. Substance definitely deserves it. I could see also Nosferatu or Wicked taking this one as well. Film editing, we have Anora, The Brutalist, Conclave, Amelia Perez, and Wicked. For best costume design, we have A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Gladiator 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked. For best cinematography, we have The Brutalist, Dune Part 2, Amelia Perez, Maria, and Nosferatu. For animated feature film, we have Flow, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and The Wild Robot. For best original screenplay, we have Anora, The Brutalist, A Real Pain, September 5th, and The Substance. Really big year for horror this year. A lot of nominations for Nosferatu, and we're getting into the Substance ones here. For best adapted screenplay, we have A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Amelia Perez, Nickel Boys, and Sing Sing. For best actress in a supporting role, we have Monica Barbaro for A Complete Unknown, Ariana Grande for Wicked, Felicity Jones for The Brutalist, Isabella Rossellini for Conclave, and Zoe Saldana for Amelia Perez. For best actor in a supporting role, we have Yura Borisov from Anora, Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain, Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist, and Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice. For actress in a leading role, we have Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, Carla Sofia Gascon for Amelia Perez, Mikey Madison for Anora, Demi Moore for The Substance, and Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here. This is a pretty incredible list of nominees because it's a majority non-white actors for like the first time I think I've seen in a very long time. Also, historic nomination for Carla Sofia Gascon, who is the first transgender performer to be nominated for a Best Actor or Actress leading Oscar. So, huge stuff here. Actor in a leading role, we have Adrian Brody for The Brutalist, Timothy Chalamet for A Complete Unknown, Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing, Ray Fiennes for Conclave, and Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice. Really ballsy choice, choosing the performance of Donald Trump in this day and age. For Best Directing, we have Jacques Audiard for Amelia Perez, Sean Baker for Anora, Brady Corbett for The Brutalist, Coralie Fargeau, the only female nominee for The Substance, and James Mangold for A Complete Unknown. Really puzzled why they picked Mangold for this category. There were so many directors that deserved it over him. And lastly, we have Best Picture. The 10 nominees this year are Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Amelia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked. So, those are your nominations for the Academy Awards this year, which will be on March 2nd. Super exciting stuff.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're a little low, but I can hear you.
Okay, I was gonna say I'm surprised that The Wild Robot didn't get a original song.
Yes, that and the Challenger song Compress Repress not getting nominations is really weird. Yeah. Also, Challenger's not getting the original score nomination is really odd. Some really odd choices this year, but the biggest story is about how Amelia Perez is getting so many nominations, and it might be the lowest rated Best Picture winner in a while if it actually wins. So,
gotcha.
I think a lot of people are seeing past the problems for the, the potential history making, I guess, instead. Okay. So, but we'll see.
I'd like not to dupe you up on the comments, but I like what Nadia said, because we were talking about the Oscars, but like, where did that come from? Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes for Best Visual Effects. Like,
Well, I mean, the Planet of the Apes movies almost always get nominations for this category because they're really good.
Okay.
Like the visual effects category is typically one of those things where they will get some kind of more blockbustery type films in there, but it is a category where they usually like they're very good about nominating the right movies.
Gotcha.
So I mean, Godzilla minus one won last year,
That's true.
which is, I mean, but yeah, I mean, I haven't seen Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes yet. I've heard good things, so
Yeah. Okay.
Especially about his visual effects. So.
Yeah, that's true.
But Alien Romulus getting a visual effects nod, Nosferatu getting a bunch of technical nominations, and then The Substance obviously getting picture, director, screenplay, and actress, among others, is huge. This was a huge year for horror. This is the first time that 3 separate horror movies have been nominated for an Academy Award, like in at least 20 years, if not ever.
Nice.
So huge year for the horror genre at the Academy Awards.
That's great. Well, that's fantastic. We love the nominations here, but we'll move on to the next one, which is the director of Barbarian is working on a Resident Evil film, which is fantastic. It will be more horror focused and closer to original games. I mean, that's all we wanted in the first place. So,
yep. Don't give us more of those Paul W.S. Anderson pieces of shit, which has Mila Jovovich in it for some reason. But yeah, this is really cool. I think he's a very talented director. Barbarian wasn't my favorite movie in the world, but I really appreciated what it was going for, and hopefully he can bring something to this movie, make it interesting. Next up, apparently Steven Spielberg fought and won regarding the prevention of an E.T. sequel. Apparently Spielberg did not have the rights to E.T., so it was an uphill battle, but they eventually were able to make sure that it was scrapped.
I mean, why though? That's the thing. Is why
it was very popular at the time, and studios wanted to get more money.
It doesn't need a sequel. Not all movies need sequels. Period. End of story.
Yeah, not all of them need them. I mean, some sequels are better than the original. Did this have a possibility of being better than the original? I mean, probably not. But
probably not.
It was not going to be worth it anyway.
No,
so
not at all.
But next up here.
Next up, NSYNC biopic was in development, but it could be revived. I've been seeing a lot of biopics come and go a lot of the times, but I don't know. I think this would be very interesting. Because we had the Michael Jackson one coming up, correct?
Yeah, this would be a fun one. I would love to see, because it's a group. And I would like to see the group's kind of stories, if it's like one particular moment in time, or if it's more of a general history. Yeah. Although I am so much more hesitant about musical biopics, or musical performer biopics after A Complete Unknown. That movie was just so boring and dull. So I don't know. Next up here, we're getting an IMAX re-release of Parasite on February 7th. This might be worth it. If you have not seen Parasite, well, first off, you should. You should be pausing this immediately and going and watching Parasite, because it's one of the best movies of the last 20 years. And it's coming to IMAX for the first time ever on February 7th. So I'm super stoked about this. Will I have the chance to go and see it? I don't know yet.
Probably not.
But I think if you've never seen it before, you should go.
Yeah, it's a good experience and a great movie as well.
Yeah.
Next up, the new rebooted Scary Movie will be released on June 12th, 2026. And I'm ready for it. I love those Scary movies, even though they're supposed to be bad, but the first 3 of them are so good. So
well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see what they can do with the reboot. I'm not expecting much, because these movies got real bad real quick. So who knows? Hopefully it'll be good.
Okay.
After talking about this a couple of weeks ago, it is official that Robert Eggers is confirmed to be working on a new Labyrinth movie. We talked about how that was one of the rumored potential next projects. We do know that his next movie is Werewolf. Will release in 2026 around Christmas time. This is probably going to be his next movie, or he is developing something for it. So,
gotcha. Do you know why he picks Christmas time?
No, I think it's just a good time of year for, if you do want some awards attention, it's a good time to release. But also, I think that because he has a particular style and a particular way that he makes films, and there's not a lot of movies that come out like that at Christmas time. So I think it's kind of an open market to try and dominate. Because I mean, like Nosferatu killed it at the box office, all things considered.
Mm-hmm.
So and it came out during Christmas time.
Okay, I just thought I'd ask that question because it's just a strange thing where he puts like kind of horror-ish or gothic movies around Christmas. But yeah, it's a good strategy if it works. So yeah. Well, another Steamboat Willie horror movie called I Heart Willie will be releasing one night only on February 26, 2025. And okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why do we... Literally, it's going to happen. I think Popeye goes public domain this year or next year or something, and we're probably going to get a Popeye horror movie just because they can.
Yeah.
It's what it's turning into. Mm-hmm. Next up, though, Martin Scorsese himself, his next film may be called The Devil in the White City, star Leonardo DiCaprio. I had no idea what this was until I read that it's based off of a book that is a nonfiction book of a time or an event that actually happened. And I'm just going to read this out because this sounds amazing. So it is a true story about the late 1800s and follows two individuals, Daniel Burnham and H.H. Holmes. The former was a prominent architect who served as the director of works for the 1892 to 93 World's Columbian Exposition, or the Chicago World's Fair, alternatively known as the White City. The latter character, H.H. Holmes, was a con artist and serial killer who committed some of his most heinous crimes during the same fair.
Interesting.
Yes, that sounds great. I've actually seen the documentary on H.H. Holmes. It's a bad documentary. Don't watch it. But he's a fascinating individual. He's a horrible human being, evil person, and I think that contrasted with at the kind of World's Fair. It's kind of an interesting way to go. I'm kind of excited for this if that ends up being the next movie.
Yeah, that would be very interesting. You know what? Maybe a trailer might help me out a little bit, but it does sound promising.
Well, it sounds like there's not even a script yet, so
okay,
it's going to be a while.
Still good. I mean, just from that little synopsis, very intrigued.
Yeah, I might actually check out this book now that I've heard about it. So
nice, very cool. Well, next up, the Odyssey from Christopher Nolan's cast, the Punisher himself, John Bernthal. Damn it, will be joining that cast. Cool. I mean, who isn't going to be in this movie? First of all. We should name the list of that instead of who's going to be in this movie.
Yeah, it really is at this point. Who's going to be in it, or who isn't going to be in it is more the question. But cool. I mean, John Bernthal is a great actor and a really cool human being too. So, yeah, go for it. I think he and Nolan could have a pretty good time together. And lastly, last story up, probably my most anticipated movie of February is The Monkey, which was written by Stephen King. And Stephen King is now praising The Monkey. And this is his exact quote that he said about The Monkey. "You've never seen anything like The Monkey. It's batshit insane. As someone who has indulged in batshittery from time to time, I say that with admiration." So it's not every day that Stephen King likes stuff based on his own work.
Mm-hmm.
So that gives me some hope.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good, but we gotta see it on the big screen to see if it comes out the way we want it to. So.
Oh yeah, that's a movie I am seeing day and date. Let me tell you. Alrighty, let's go ahead. Oops. Resident Evil 2 pissed me the hell off with how much Paul W.S. was wanking over his wife and making the game characters look like chumps. So I'm hoping the new Marty movie will be good. Yeah, Paul Anderson completely screwed those movies up for everyone. And they did another live action Resident Evil recently that was kind of closer to the original games, and it didn't go over well. So hopefully this time, by having a director who's actually good at what he does, may give us some hope. I think that based on Barbarian, I would like to see them do one based off of the recent Resident Evil 7 which is the one in the house in the south.
Yeah,
I think would be pretty good.
Very interesting.
Nadia, you missed a horror news. What? I did. Terrifier 4 started production. I didn't see that online today.
Breaking news.
Says currently in development. I don't see. I'm not seeing any news that it started production today. I'm not saying you're lying. I don't see it on any news site. So if it has started production, that's awesome.
Yep.
Hopefully it is the best one yet. Because three is going to be hard to top, in my opinion.
Yeah, it will be.
So, but those are all the news stories for this week. Thank you for getting that into our attention, Nadia. But let's go ahead and dive into the trailers that came out this week. And there weren't a lot of really interesting ones that came out. But there is one big one, which was Sinners, which is a movie that has quickly shot up in my anticipation. Because I mean, we're in the day and age now. We can get some vampire movies again. It's long enough post Twilight. Yeah,
I mean, I saw the trailer before I jumped on today. I know you sent it in our group chat, but saw it and I go, it's very intriguing. See how this goes. It looks a little batshit crazy, but that's okay.
Yeah, I love the setting. I think like the cast that they've assembled is also really good. And I'm interested to see if it's going to have any kind of deeper meaning beyond just being a vampire survival movie. So very interested to see how that ends up going.
Yep.
Got a comment here. That's what I meant. Oops, script is done. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Let's just say
it's okay.
It's still coming out next year, so we're very much anticipating it. I know you are too. No worries though. Alrighty, and let's go ahead and get into the box office, Kevin.
Yeah, box office, really crazy. Flight Risk coming in with 11.6 million in first place. Mufasa, The Lion King, with 8.6 million. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 with 5.3. And Moana 2 just hanging on in there, just shy of 4.2 million.
Oh, you missed number 3.
I did? Oh, I did. I'm so sorry. I like skipping movies. Number 3, Day of One of Them Days with 8 million. Wow, that was hard for me to say for some reason.
Hey, you know, it's all right. But yeah, nothing. Surprising that Flight Risk opened up so high. I'm also surprised. Well, actually, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that Presents didn't show up in the top 5. But we'll get to that because I watched it this week, and we'll get to it when we get to it in the review thing on why I think it didn't enter the top 5.
Okay.
But let's go ahead and get into the movies that are coming out this weekend, and we got some interesting ones. Up first is Companion, the movie that I'm really looking forward to. A billionaire's death sets off a chain of events for Iris and her friends during a weekend trip to his lakeside estate. As we've said before, do not watch the latest trailer for this. It spoils the movie. And also the poster kind of does too. So, yeah, unless there's some other deeper twist that happens, I don't know. But
which I'm all for a deeper twist in movies too.
All for it.
But
it's a little annoying that it kind of spoiled the whole thing. Up after that is Dogman, the upcoming DreamWorks animated film. Dogman, half dog and half man, he is sworn to protect and serve as he doggedly pursues the feline supervillain Petey the Cat. This is a movie that's probably going to end up in the top 5 because it is a child-friendly family film, even though it does not look good at all, and doesn't really have any big names in it. I mean, it's got Pete Davidson.
And that's it.
And that's really about it.
Yep.
So, up after that, oh boy, this is a movie that I know Kevin's been waiting for. I'm just kidding. Steamboat. A late-night boat ride turns into a desperate fight for survival in New York City when a mischievous mouse becomes a monstrous reality. Can a motley crew survive a killer creature with a taste for tourists?
Bro,
this
cheese.
Looks terrible.
Cheese. That's what I'm... It's that good Gouda in this. Like, this is going to be just a great streaming movie, I feel like.
Cheese, grommet.
It's cheese, Gromit.
The only big thing going on here is that it does star David Howard Thornton, who plays Art the Clown in the Terrifier films, and he is playing Screamboat Willie himself. This movie looks terrible, so I will probably wait it when it comes on streaming. And then up after that is Valiant 1, a movie that doesn't have anyone big in it, with tensions between North and South Korea. That's not written well grammatically. A U.S. helicopter crashes on the North Korean side. Now the survivors must work together to protect a civilian tech specialist and find their way out without the help of U.S. military support. I saw a trailer for this in theaters. It looks really low budget.
That's it.
If you're into military movies, I'm sure you'll enjoy it, but it just doesn't look like it's really going to do anything. But who knows?
Who knows?
But that's it for the movies that are coming out this weekend. We got some... Garth, are you going to watch Screamboat in theaters? I am debating it if it is even going to be available.
I don't even see it on the Regal site.
I'm looking right now. Companion movie. I'm surprised that Valiant 1 is actually going to have screenings. It doesn't look like it's having any screenings at the local theater. There might be some other theaters nearby that might have it. I will double check. But probably not. I'm probably going to go see a Companion instead. So, Gouda, more like cottage cheese left on the porch. Ooh, got him. Also, what is this emoji?
I don't know, but it's really cool. She finds these and it's amazing.
YouTube's emojis are fantastic, and I answer questions. Yeah, I will if I can get a ticket for free through Regal, then I will go and see. Because I will throw away my time, I guess. Alrighty, but that of course is going to bring us to the back half of the show, and with the changing of the music, that means that it's time to go over the movies we watched last week. Now, Kevin has only watched one movie.
Yes,
last week. I have watched two. So I will do one, you do one, then I'll do one, and then we'll get into the wheel spin.
Sounds like a perfect plan.
All right. So the first movie that I watched this week was Presents, which we just talked about when we were talking about the top 5 and why it's not there. I'm going to tell you right now that this film is horribly marketed. We really were looking forward to the trailers from this movie, Kevin. I know we talked about it, and it looked like it was going to be a horror movie. And they were marketing it as a horror movie. And then it came out, and I'm glad that I saw other people's reviews, because other people's reviews said that it was very clearly not a horror movie. This movie uses a horror concept in that it has a ghost in a house that might be haunted. And that's it. It is a family drama. And anything else, that is what it is. It is a family drama. In that, it is fantastic. I really enjoyed this movie. It not only is it made very uniquely, because the entire movie is from the perspective of the presents, it also has a great script. It has the characters in it are believable and real and down to earth, and I really enjoyed their performances. There is one aspect of this movie that I wasn't the biggest fan of, which is why it's missing some points out of 100, which I can't talk about because it's a spoiler for the movie. But it just kind of felt tacked on and unnecessary. The ending does kind of give it a little bit more purpose, but that's all I can say. I do not want to spoil this movie, because there is a twist in this movie that is so good.
Oh, okay.
Not like a game-changing twist, but like I did not see it coming. And so that's where I'm going to leave it.
So why do you think they marketed it as a horror movie? Why was it just because of how the movie was? Maybe they're like, it's not supposed to be a horror movie, but how can we not spoil something without showing it?
I honestly, excuse me, I honestly don't know.
Okay.
I think that they saw reactions of early screenings and heard people say it was scary or something, and then that's what they based their marketing off of.
Okay.
I think that's probably the most logical answer, but it's not scary. Like, there's one moment that made me jump, kind of, but it wasn't intentional. So, like, it never feels scary. There's an air of sadness really the entire time, which is kind of a different kind of a feeling. But I think this film was wonderful. I definitely can see that a lot of people were upset by it or didn't enjoy it though. So
Gotcha.
I might be in the minority here, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. Well, I got to check out The Wild Robot, just to fill out my ballot. That a new video is coming out soon for that. So, this movie is absolutely gorgeous and beautiful, perfectly made. I feel like the storyline, anybody can get behind it, and it has like comedic parts of it with the robot, Roz, and all of the other characters, and it's so beautifully made, and it's just such a good movie. You should definitely go watch it. It is worth your time. I think I should have seen this in the theater, but I waited a little bit too long, unfortunately. But I got to see it, and I'm glad I did. And gave it a 99 out of 100.
There you go. All right. In the last movie that I watched this week, we got back to doing our movie nights here in my apartment. So my cousin picked out a movie that I and our other roommate had not seen, which is Best in Show. This movie is from 2000. You and Nadia need to watch this movie because I think you guys would really enjoy it. It is a comedy movie about a dog show. Like those ones where they trot them around on the, on the thing. It's such a fun little movie. The character work is really, they're all committed to their bits, and all these characters are really weird and kind of odd and wacky. But the dogs are adorable. And that's a big reason why it's been so successful. They're clearly having the time of their life making this movie. Okay. Because they just get to hang out with dogs, and the dogs are great. But the characters are just as funny. It's like almost all of them are couples, and there's something going on with them, and I don't know. It is a really fun time. Some of the humor gets a little too cringy at points, and I just do not do well with social awkwardness, like in real life and in movies. But it's a super funny movie. I laughed far more than I thought I would, and I can see why so many people put it in their top 4 for like those Letterboxd videos. Like, what's your top 4, Tom Cruise? And he's like, Best in Show. He didn't say that, but like you know what I mean. He might. You never know. I mean, he might. He hasn't done one of those videos yet. So, but Best in Show, great comedy movie. I would highly recommend it for anyone. Where you guys watching it? We had to rent it. Oh, okay. It was really funny. So I think you and Nadia would really enjoy it. Nice. Very cool. Alrighty. So that is it for the recreational viewing. Let's go ahead and get into the shorts and films we watched as a part of the wheel spin. Yep. So Kevin. Motor Mania. This is Road Rage as an animation, and it makes it hilarious. So I absolutely loved it. Goofy looks really weird in this animation because it's not Goofy, but it's labeled under Goofy, so it's never him. So I was expecting Goofy to be on the TV. It was not, unfortunately, but it was still really good. The writing was great. The narration was fantastic. Again, animation from the 50s, can't go wrong with it. I can love that. And then the car memes in this are hilarious. Like him finding a parking spot and thinking it's gold when it's rush hour and stuff like that. It's just those little things just really had me smiling from ear to ear. So I gave it a 92 out of 100. All right. My short this week was Little Quacker, which was my nickname in middle school. This was an interesting short because I feel like so much of this wants to be a Disney short. Like the first couple, like the first minute, 2 minutes, feels like something that could have been like a Disney Silly Symphony short with like classical music and that kind of a thing. But then they awkwardly bring in the Tom and Jerry antics, and it kind of feels like a weird transition. And I don't think it necessarily works for me on this one. I think it's okay. It's still got some fun little visual humor. The dad, there's like a little duck that Tom takes, and then Jerry and the duck are working together. Later on, the dad duck shows up, and he's got like an anchor tattoo, like he's a Navy soldier. That was kind of funny, and it implies that there's a whole duck military system, which I think is hysterical. But it really bugged me that all the ducks have like Donald Duck voices. They're like Donald Duck voices in an MGM short, which is really weird. I don't know. Who knows? I think maybe the artists were trying to jump ship to Disney and be like, look what we can do. We can do what you do. So,
okay.
Wasn't the best, but it was still a Tom and Jerry short. I have a soft spot in my heart for him. So.
Yep. Yeah, but I'll talk about Sleepaway Camp. It's fun, campy, no pun intended, slasher because it takes place in a camp, summer camp. The kills are really great in this movie. The main actress doesn't talk through a lot throughout this whole movie, so she just sits there and stares at everybody, so it's kind of creepy in a way, but kind of like unsettling as well. You're like, fucking say something, dude. Like, but other than that, it's a 80s horror movie that is really good. It's kind of like I don't want to say underrated, but like under the bar a little bit. Other people talk about other 80s slasher movies, and this one's like, okay, you can watch this one if you really want to, but it should get its flowers.
It flies under the radar.
Yeah, it flies under the radar on it, and it deserves its flowers in that aspect. So I give it a 65 out of 100. Really, really fun movie just to sit down and relax to.
Alrighty, well, I'm glad you had fun with your movie.
Yeah, I'll mute my mic for this one. Let's see.
Day of the Dead 2008. Well, at least I don't have to watch it anymore. I hated this movie. I'm not gonna lie. And I think that there's a lot of different things I could talk about. I could talk about how the cinematography is terrible, how it does those weird 2000s fast-moving switches, and the CGI isn't that good in this movie. The actors are like horrible. Like Kevin and I could act better in a movie than these people did. But also they're given a terrible script where everything is a one-liner. There's literally a moment between two characters where they're driving in a Humvee, and the guy's like, "Oh, by the way, I'm vegetarian," and she's like, "Cool." And then the scene ends like right after that. Like it's so badly written, it's so badly directed, it's so badly acted, and that's all well and good. Like my biggest problem with this thing is I do not like fast-moving zombies. I know that's like, you know, if you're a zombie movie fan, you either like both or you like one or the other, right? I don't find them interesting. I don't find them scary. Like, they don't even feel like zombies in this movie. There's really weird effects, like when they're in the hospital and there's one that's just running and all of a sudden it's like crawling and then up on the ceiling and then down on the ground again. And it looks like it's like edited like one of my first videos I ever created. Like, it looks horrible. That's not a zombie. That's like to me, this was more like a hive mind organism controlling things and making them act like superhumans, which, like, even that's not a great idea, but it would have been a better idea than making them zombies.
Someone's writing that down right now as we speak.
Go ahead. If you can make a good movie out of it, go for it. But the only this movie is not without two things that I do feel like I do need to compliment. Number one was the makeup and the gore effects. When there were actually physical and practical effects, they looked good. The other thing was the stunt team. I do not like the fast zombies, but when they're all jumping out of the third and second story windows of the hospital to change them, things like that are cool. And that takes real talent. And I really appreciate that they use like stunts and not just CGI for those. Those look great. Other than that, I really did not enjoy this movie. Like, it's not even a movie that I would think would be fun to put on like at a party or something and make fun of with friends. Like, if I put this movie on with some friends, I'm sure that half of them would probably walk out of my apartment and question the friendship. Like, I do think it is that bad. The other half would stay there and probably enjoy it. But, like, you know, I just could not get into it. You know, Sorry, but couldn't do it. But that's it for the movies from the Wheel Spin. But let's go ahead and get some of these comments here. Lol, I knew you would hate Day of the Dead. That's why I picked it. You know what? You've been on a roll, though, with good recommendations lately. Mm-hmm. So, it's all right.
I'd love... did you see the emoji that she has on there? Popcorn yellow striped smile.
Unfortunately, it didn't come through. I would love to see what that looks like.
Yeah.
You can take a screenshot of it and send it in our group chat. The ant of Sleepaway Camp was weird, Kevin. Without spoiling it, what did you think of the shocker ending?
I already knew about it, so it wasn't a shocker to me.
Oh, okay.
It's a 40-year-old movie.
It's true. Dude, the ant off her rocker.
The ant is the scariest part about that movie sometimes.
Is that the one that just stares at the camera?
No, that's the main chick that stares at the camera.
Oh.
The ant is like... you know what? You'll watch it. That's my movie. Sure. That's my movie if I get your Will Spin. You'll watch it. Perfect. Thank you.
Alrighty. And that is going to bring us over to our favorite part. Well, of many parts. We love this whole live stream. But what time is it, Kevin?
It's time to spin that wheel. It's up there.
It's up there, Steve.
It's up there, Steve.
Alrighty. We're going to need some more recommendations, though. If anyone has any, please get them to us in the comment section. Mm-hmm. And we'll go ahead and add them. We both got horror movies this week, so I don't know if we want to change it up or get something different. I don't know what I'm feeling this week. I'm trying to remember what movie.
Maybe a little nostalgia. Like I'm seeing Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget looks good on there.
It's a bad movie, but sure.
That's a Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. Like maybe a little something like that.
Okay.
The Blackening would be cool to watch. I haven't seen that one, so that one might be fun.
There you go. Unfriended, is that on here already? Let's find out. Unfriended is on here already, Nadia, and I don't think Friend Request is, though. No, Friend Request is not on there.
Let me see if I've seen those, because I think I have, but I will check.
Well, I know you have for Unfriended, because it has my initials next to it.
What was the other one? Friend Request?
Yeah. We have A Man Called Hero. Are these shorts, or are these regular? Bon Voyage, Charlie Brown. And Don't Come Back. I'll leave that for later on.
Nadia, is it Nadia 2016 Friend Request? Make sure I have that right.
And then The Taking of Deborah Logan. Just double checking, it is the 2016. Yes. Okay.
Yes, it is. Okay. No, I have not watched that. I know of it, I think, though. So.
Alrighty. So, do you have your movie, Kevin, for the...
I already did.
Okay. Well, you said it was Sleepaway Camp. Just making
Yes.
sure.
Yep.
Make sure it's still there. Alrighty. Shuffling it up. We'll give it another 30 seconds if anyone wants to get in here and have anything that they would like to add to the wheel. Any suggestions? I don't know what I'm hoping for. Something... I don't know. I kind of want a bad movie again. Like,
was it fun watching a bad movie a little bit?
I mean, yeah. I mean,
not even like fun, but it's like, oh my god, like why did they do these choices and stuff?
Yeah, who gave these people money? Yeah,
it's Nick
really
Cannon. What do you expect?
Yeah. All right. It has been 30 seconds, so we'll go ahead and get into a spin. Kevin.
Yep. Short first.
Let's get you short. That is not a short, but it's going to be Tom something. Unless I'm completely misreading that. No, Tom Turk and Daffy.
Tom Turk and Daffy. Okay.
So we'll go ahead and get that on Kevin's list here. And then we'll remove it from said list, shuffle it up, and respin my short.
Yep. Hoping for a different MGM short or Disney short? What are you shorting on?
I don't know what I'm hoping for. Unfortunately, it will not be that, but I think it's Goofy Gymnastics is the closest. No, wait, hold on.
Oh, we have a contender for the closest.
Drafty Daffy, I think. Yep, Drafty Daffy. We're both getting Daffy Duck shorts, it looks like.
Very cool.
So that is going to be my shorts, and we'll go ahead and remove it. Shuffle up. That blue and red line is back.
Yep.
Where's it going to land? Kevin, let's get your movie. And Kevin's movie is Basketball.
Oh, that's a comedy, isn't it?
It is. It is a basketball movie from the guys who do South Park.
I put basketball in.
Darn, I was really hoping to get that. That's okay, though. All right, we'll spin it up again while Kevin's taking a look at it online. Oh! It's Sky High.
God, that brings back memories.
Have I reviewed Sky High?
I thought you had.
I have not. I have seen it before, though. I know the movie, but
yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely watch that again. That's totally fun.
Isn't Russell in it?
Kurt Russell, baby.
Yeah, Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell as a Superman type character. So, alrighty. Well, that is going to be about it. So, thankfully, we're all good for the night. We got man, I got to tell you, going from the movie that we have to cover on Movie Club this week, which I guess we can go ahead and talk about. So this week, we've got our new Movie Club episode coming out on Friday, which is going to be Do the Right Thing. I almost said Don't Do the Right Thing. Do the Right Thing is going to be the movie for Movie Club this week. And going from that to Day of the Dead was like going from a 3-star Michelin restaurant to gas station sushi. It was like, oh boy. But yeah, that was fun. But we got some interesting movies this week. We got 2, I guess we could say comedies, because Sky High is kind of a comedy. So
it would be more
Daffy Duck shorts. Yeah, that was like right when I was a kid. But yeah, so Kevin will be watching the short Tom, Turk, and Daffy, and then we'll be watching the film Basketball, and then I will be watching the short Drafty Daffy and the film Sky High, which I haven't seen in a while. We already talked about how we have a movie club coming up this week that goes live on at 4 a.m. on Friday Pacific Standard Time, so make sure you're subscribed so you know that's coming. And then, of course, this live stream goes live every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So hopefully you all have a fantastic week. Hope you have a good weekend. Go see something in theaters. For the love of God. I don't know what the hell is happening with Fox Pixar. Whatever. Alrighty. Have a great night, everyone, and we will see you all next week.
Bye.
And keep your eyes on the screen. Typical ender. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.